So this deserves a short introduction. You can see there is no PowerPoint because today is Juneteenth, and I guess that some people celebrate it and will likely want some cookies. And also I want some, but I'm not prepared. I was planning to celebrate my freedom and to, obviously I could have done the PowerPoint, but so what is this introduction? There's no garbage on here anymore. This is actually some notes. Continuing the diversity studies, but this I got the butter in here already, and I decided, you know what, this is the just to demonstrate how that's good fast you can have your own cookies, but also I'm going to reflect on the different order of the diversity paper. First, what you do is, I'm turning on the oven, is to recognize that the UN states, I'm also going to make coffee. Oh wait, but the coffee is holding up this, so I'm going to make coffee after. Obviously I'm thinking of making coffee now, and the coffee is right holding up the tablet. But yeah, the UN, they actually make a statement on diversity very early in their formation, because they recognized they needed to address the issue of race, and to replace the word race with ethnic group. Obviously you can do that, and it also still includes the concept of race. So yeah, I mean, they don't like eliminate race from thinking, but they just recognize that there's no there's no like science behind it, and also it changes very fast, and doesn't have any implication on use of sugar, any like intellectual difference or anything. Mainly culture has much more impact on people. So, oh right, I'm looking at the notes because I did change the order of it. So what am I making here? Sugar and butter, and some white sugar too. Then here, and flour. Two kinds of flour. And next, I talked in my paper about religion and how, basically like diversity and progressive revelation are two really key concepts. So progressive revelation is where people were in tribes, well, really families, and then, trust building in families and all that, and then tribes, and then cities, states, nations, and here we are in the UN. See, that's probably the best attempt that you can get. And then also diversity is really critical for religion. Although black people love their gospel music. So the next topic is, what did I do for the next diversity topic? I'm having fun with this. These cookies could obviously do much more faster. I'm really not in a rush. Okay, what was the next one? Well, everybody came out of Africa, so right, nepotism. How do you prove your lineage and get entitled to the reparation checks? I mean, this is the creaming part, and I always do a really bad job with this. But yeah, everybody is really entitled to reparation checks if you were descended from slaves, but it gets harder and harder every year because there's even more people who are descended from them, and the Jewish people get their reparation checks in Germany. They still get them, and that's a pretty good model for the U.S. I mean, obviously it works. I don't know. There's really no good argument against a historically oppressed group getting their fair share. So, I mean, okay, wow, yeah, everybody agrees, but like, what's the next one? Church and state should be separate. I mean, just because you have the idea doesn't mean that. Wow, this is really bad writing. I'm like trying to read my handwriting. Maybe if I take off my glasses, right? Isn't that what old people do? Obviously, I can read. It's just taking my time, I guess. Shunning. Okay, so that's the next topic. So there's different kinds of like group functions. Shunning is one of them. Another, yeah, that's where they just don't have any response, no matter what they do. Messed up here. This mess. And so there's also another standpoint would be, oh, that's too much, would be the Pollyanna syndrome, and that's where you don't recognize differences at all, and you think that everybody's just trying to find the good in the world. That's Pollyanna. I think that I watched Pollyanna, an old color film, one of the first color films there were, and I mean, she got like in this terrible accident and still maintained her sunny disposition because she had 1 million people helping her. And everybody in her little village, like all the other school kids and everybody, not school kids, just like neighborhood kids. I don't even think they had schools back then. And everybody loved her. She had all these people around her helping her out. Like, yeah, she's some stupid white Pollyanna. And I mean, Asian people, they have like all their banking and they inherit their business, so that's nepotism right there. That's all about it. But this is about in-group, out-group stuff, and effectively, yeah, groups are good for helping disabilities, and you see a lot of well, it's not even like they're disabled, it's just like they have like one issue. Okay, I'm making butterscotch because it's right here, and I'm not going to put all the butterscotch in, but I am going to, you know what time is it? I got the time, and the time is half butterscotch, half marshmallow. So okay, a big part of diversity that I'm going to start writing about today, and I kind of want to reflect for a second. I can only use half the marshmallows here. I mean, look at this. If I ate all this. Oh, I'm doing it on camera. Cronyism is a huge part of diversity, because this goes right along with disability, because you always have like one of the friends who just is overlooking the other person's the other person's their friend, and so of course they get a place in the group. And there are things that they like about their cronies, but I'm telling you, there's when it comes down to it. So yeah, I guess the last topic of diversity that I don't think should be a topic of diversity, and it is my video. So I actually I was doing some research on black people, and actually by a black person who is actually, ironically, a white person researcher. He's I think he's the first. I would like to be a white person researcher, but he made the point that, actually, I don't know if he made the point. No, he did not. Another person in post-traumatic slave syndrome, Joy DeGruy, she made the point in her little book. Not a little book, but yeah, she made a point that, what was it? Oh yeah, in diversity training, they always, because if you get down to it, I need a knife. If you get down to it, it makes people really upset, and so they find any tactic they can to like not talk about it, and to make themselves like feel persecuted. Also, that's a standpoint. It's like, oh yeah, there's oppression, and I'm oppressed because I'm a woman, or I'm a male, and all the females in the world they don't like me. That's a whole movement. That's like an incel movement. I don't want to know about that. So yeah, gender is another topic of diversity, but it's like, that's 50-50. I mean, that's not diversity. That's, wow, I said it. There's only two races, and one of them's a minority. Well, actually, minority just means non-white. But yeah, within the minorities, there's. So yeah, but I don't know. I mean, is that really so surprising that there's people who want to discuss gender when you're talking about diversity? I don't get it, but I think that everybody needs a place at the table. But okay, so I'm gonna throw this in the oven. Coming up with a conclusion is very challenging, because there is no conclusion, and if there was, then, well, I mean, we could still talk about diversity even if there was a conclusion, but
we must talk about it.
Yeah, I think that there's plenty for everybody. Well, not anymore, but